productivity and food security, aviation safety, building and construction, among others, thereby ensuring a sustainable economy. He emphasized that greater investment, mutual engagement, and quality climate data sharing are critical for effective reporting, fostering trust, transparency, and collective progress towards climate-informed goals.
In a related development, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecast thunderstorms and moderate rainfall across various parts of the country today, September 15, 2025. According to its daily weather outlook, posted on its social media handle, northern states are expected to experience isolated thunderstorms with moderate rains in Kaduna, Gombe, Bauchi, Kebbi, Adamawa, Taraba, Borno, Jigawa, Kano, and Katsina states. In the central region, NIMET projects cloudless skies with intervals of sunshine accompanied by a chance of isolated thunderstorms and moderate rainfall in Niger, Kogi, Kwara, and the Federal Capital Territory and Benue states. For the southern states, the agency forecasts a cloudy atmosphere in the morning with a chance of moderate rainfall in parts of Ekiti, Ondo, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Kwara and Cross River states. Moderate rains are also anticipated across most states in the afternoon and evening. The agency also issued an advisory warning that flash floods are likely in parts of Adamawa, Taraba, and Gombe states, urging residents in flood-prone areas to remain alert and advise motorists to drive carefully.
Justice Musa Liman of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has sent back to the Chief Judge a motion filed by the leader of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, for reassignment. Mr. Kanu, in a motion ex parte, is seeking an order of the court to transfer him to the National Hospital, Abuja, for urgent medical attention. In a short ruling today, Justice Liman ordered the transfer of the case file back to the CJ of the Federal High Court, considering that the annual vacation of the court ends at the close of work today. Counsel to the Department of State Services, DSS, Adegboyega Awomolo, SAN, did not oppose Uchenna's application. Justice Liman, who said that though Kanu's motion was an urgent one in view of the health ground, it was filed late, said consequently ordered that the case file be referred to the registry for reassignment.
A Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has struck out a suit filed by a Port Harcourt-based legal practitioner, Williams Abayomi Stanley, against President Bola Tinubu, the Attorney General of the Federation, the sole administrator Ebok Ete Ibas, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, and its chairman over the conduct of the recent local government council election in the state. Mr. Stanley had challenged the legality of President Tinubu's appointment of a state sole administrator, who in turn nominated the chairman and members of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission to conduct the August 30 local government council election. Presiding Judge Justice Stephen Jumbo, in his ruling on the day, explained that under the Constitution, only the Supreme Court has exclusive jurisdiction to hear such suits during an emergency rule. Justice Jumbo also ruled that the claimant lacked local standi to institute the suit against the defendants, stating that he failed to show a personal interest beyond public interest or any civil rights and obligations violated by the defendant's actions. The judge further held that the claimant did not provide sufficient proof of injury, threat of injury, or hardship he would suffer if the issues in his originating summons were not addressed.
Meanwhile, it has been noted that the emergency rule in Rivers State serves as a pertinent reminder to politicians to be duty-bound in upholding the principles of democratic governance and meeting the expectations of the electorate. This assertion was made by political analyst Adesumbo Badejoko and Dr. Adekunle Onile during a discussion on the topic as Rivers emergency rule ends on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Program AM 120. BCOS reporter Fedora Afolagboye, who monitored the program, has the details.
The emergency rule in Rivers State, declared by President Bola Tinubu 6 months ago, is set to expire, sparking concerns about governance, security, and the state's future trajectory, leaving stakeholders uncertain about what's next for Rivers State's stability and prosperity. Discussing the conclusion of the Rivers State emergency rule on BCOS AM 120, political analyst Adesumbo Badejoko commended the sole administrator for restoring peace in Rivers State within a short time frame and for ensuring the successful conduct of the local government election. He observed that although the emergency rule was unexpected, it surprisingly restored peace and met the people's demand for stability and calm.
The main thing that we could call his achievement was the local government election. He was able to do that and have the local government at the local level. The election went smoothly against all odds. We thought that the politicians would want to take advantage of that to foment trouble, but that didn't happen. And of course, more than one political parties participate in the election. And of course, the result too, whether or not it was manipulated is another story. But the fact that we didn't have a, what is it called now? A1 parallel, some people will say, having one party taking all the slots, at least, is still a mix of two parties, even though there are more than two parties that contested in the election. That would be his major achievement.
Also on the program, political analyst Dr. Adekunle Onile observed that the past 6 months have been a learning curve, and he anticipates a more stable and peaceful Rivers State with a more prudent leadership approach. Governor Fubara, he noted, has the potential to achieve much by rebranding himself politically, focusing on innovative solutions, completing stalled projects, and driving infrastructure growth.
When there are conflicts, you say when two elephants fight, it is the grasses that suffers. Rivers resources were used to settle scores. Imagine disruptions, imagine wasteful expenditures, imagine all the, in fact, all the monies and resources and time that could have been put to more economic and better uses now being expended on settling political scores and on trying to outdo each other. When you look at it, these are not necessarily gains of democracy. These are losses to the democratic process. And perhaps there's one gain there. What's the gain? The gain is that it will now make future players to learn from the experiences of all these shenanigans.
They both expressed optimism that Rivers State will experience a return to peace and stability with Governor Fubara back at the helm. Fedora Afolagboye, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope, right, comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Oyo State Acting Governor, Barrister Adebayo Lawal, has officially launched the European Union Support for Sustainable Social Protection Initiative, SUISI, in Nigeria. He described it as a landmark step towards strengthening social inclusion, human capital development, and sustainable growth. The acting governor launched the program during an event held at the ESCO chambers of the governor's office, Agodi, Ibadan. Barrister Bayo stressed that building a resilient social protection system requires a clear long-term vision, sustainable financing, strong institutions, and effective monitoring mechanisms. In his opening address, the State Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Professor Musibao Babatude, expressed that the state has been at the forefront of addressing social protection challenges since the beginning of the current administration. In their various remarks, representatives of UNICEF and the International Labour Organization ILO highlighted that social protection is not a luxury but a fundamental right for every citizen. The event was attended by the Speaker, State House of Assembly, Adebo Ogundoyin, represented by the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Mohammed Fadi, other lawmakers, Secretary to the State Government, SSG, Professor Olanike Adeyemo, commissioners, among others.
As retirement approaches for many public servants, proper planning has become essential for ensuring sustainable stability, wellness and dignity in old age. To this end, the sensitization of prospective retirees has taken center stage as a way of preparing them for life after active service. In response, the Oluyole State Government, through the Local Government Staff Pension Board, convened a 2-day sensitization and training program in Ibadan, bringing together prospective retirees, union leaders and key stakeholders under the theme, Achieving Quality Life After Retirement. Damilola Daudu was at the event held at the Local Government Staff Training School, Secretariat Ibadan, and now reports.
The Oluyole State Local Government Staff Pension Board embarked on a 2-day sensitization and training program to prepare prospective retirees of primary school teachers and local government staff all over the state for life after service. The program, themed Achieving Quality Life After Retirement, was aimed at preparing workers and equipping them with the right knowledge to navigate retirement successfully. During the lecture session, some of the facilitators reminded participants that retirement could either be a rewarding phase or a challenging one, depending on the level of preparation made beforehand. They encouraged prospective retirees to embrace entrepreneurship, volunteerism, and lifelong learning as a way to remain productive and relevant in society. In his welcome address, the chairman of the Oluyole State Local Government Staff Pension Board, Honorable Akin Ige, commended Governor Seyi Makinde for his support and for prioritizing the welfare of workers and retirees in the state. He explained that the initiative was part of the board's mandate to ensure that retirees are not only financially secured, but also psychologically, socially, and physically prepared for the realities of post-service life.
We need to thank His Excellency, the most pensioners-friendly governor in the whole country. Most of our retirees always face the problem of falling victims or the fraudsters when it is time for them to process their retirement documents. So, by this program, it will make it as seamless for them. They will be able to know what to do exactly when it is time for them to retire.
In their various remarks, the Permanent Secretary, Local Government Staff Pension Board, Alhaji Lukman Muraina, and State Secretary, National Union of Pensioners, Comrade Olusegun Abaton, noted that the program was conceived to address the common challenges faced by retirees, including financial mismanagement, health complication, and social isolation, which often arise when adequate preparations are not made ahead of time.
We recorded 90%. Most of the problems we identified, we were able to solve them. We are also bringing in skill acquisition, so that at the end of the day, our retirees will be able to have something to do in line with the directive of our Executive Governor for your state, that the retiree should enjoy more than when he or she is in that service. We also want them to know the procedure, rules and regulations governing the process of processing the retirement benefit.
Give glory to God for making today a possibility. And I also eulogized His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde for what he has been doing for pensioners in our state. It is now that the pensioners can really say they are resting after retirement.
participants at the program expressed appreciation to the Oyo State government for putting together the initiative. They described the sensitization as a eye-opener that has provided them with clearer insight into what lies ahead.
Sensitization program for the prospective retirees in Oyo State in order to guide us on the prospective life, on what we are going to face after retirement.
Program yìí ó dá ìdí ni pé gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí yìí mọ̀ tó yẹ ká máa tẹ̀lé téèyàn bá fẹ̀yìntì wọ́n gbé jáde.
The event, which gathered various stakeholders, featured presentation of certificate of participation and group photographs. Damilola Daudu, BCOS News.
You're listening to Newscope on Oluyole 98.5 FM Ibadan. We pause now for a short commercial break. Do stay tuned.
After the long holiday wey una don enjoy now, time don reach to go back to school. And as school dey open, we sabi as una dey hustle. Na im make us dey throway salute for papa, mama on top the kajai work wey dem dey do. Teachers dem nko wey dey teach the pikin dem wella, and even the students dem wey dey do every to make their future better. My people, na im make energy switch filling stations dey fuel your journey from road enter classroom. Therefore, as you dey open your book and enter your classroom, remember say na kajai future you get o, and every lesson wey you sabi na to build correct foundation for future success. As far as the work motor engine, now so knowledge they arrange your future. For energy switch filling station, we dey ready for the two to work. No forget, say 2024, we support school picking them with bursary scheme. This 2025, na helele, as we don ready with boku bursary. Make una no sleep oh, watch out for this correct opportunity. Where they come, energy switch filling stations, innovations, possibilities, you. Now welcome back to school.
Schools have officially commenced academic activities today, as both public and private primary and secondary schools across Oyo State resumed for the 2025-2026 first term academic session. This follows the directive of the State Minister of Education on school resumption. BCS reporter Faith Adekunle, who monitored the situation in some schools within the Ibadan metropolis, now reports.
With the commencement of a new academic session, schools in Oyo State reopened today to welcome students and teachers back to classrooms. During the visit to some schools, it was observed that while a number of schools recorded impressive student turnout on the first day, others experienced low attendance. School principals urged both staff and students to embrace the term with renewed dedication, while also appealing to parents to ensure their children resume promptly as academic activities have already begun.
It has resumed, but for now, the turnout is still low. For those that came today, we encourage them that teaching has commenced. They should be coming, and they should even tell others to turn so that they will not be missing their lessons. And even today, our teachers, they started going to classes to teach the students that were available in the school. So teaching has commenced in earnest.
If you look at the school compound, you will see that the school is very neat. As for the academic activities, the shock, tempo, everything is in order. The students are ready to learn. The teachers are ready to teach.
Speaking with BCS News, the proprietress of a private school, Mrs. Taiwo Aderede, commended parents for their resilience, noting that despite the economic challenges, many still prioritize enrolling their children in private schools.
Because of the poor economy that we have now, definitely it is going to affect the enrollment, especially now that the public schools are in good shape. But notwithstanding that, we still have a lot of parents who have interest in bringing their children to private schools. And it is our duty as proprietors and proprietresses to give them that, to see that we do the right thing for those who are willing to bring their children here.
Schools visited by BCS News include St. Patrick's Grammar School, Bashorum, Ikolaba Grammar School, Oba Kimbiyi Model College, Mokola, Ikolaba High School, as well as a number of private schools in the metropolis. Faith Adekunle, BCS News.
Now to the foreign scene. South Sudan's opposition has today called for a mobilization of its supporters to carry out regime change in response to plans to put their leader on trial for treason and crimes against humanity. A fragile power-sharing agreement from 2018 between President Salva Kiir and his longtime rival Riek Machar has been unraveling for months. Recall that Machar was charged with murder, treason and crimes against humanity and stripped of his position as first vice president in the unity government, having already spent months under house arrest. He was accused of ordering an attack on a military base in March by a militia from his ethnic Nuer community that the government said killed more than 250 soldiers. Machar's party denies involvement in the attack and says the accusations are part of efforts by President Kiir to sideline him and consolidate power.
To end this edition of Newscope, the main points again. Resident doctors in the Federal Capital Territory FCT have commenced an indefinite strike effective today, September 15, 2025, citing government's failure to meet their long-standing demands.
Justice Musa Liman of the Federal High Court Abuja has sent back to the Chief Judge a motion filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, for reassignment.
The Oyo State Acting Governor, Barrister Adebayo Lawal, has officially launched the European Union Support for Sustainable Social Protection Initiative, SUSI, in Nigeria.
On the foreign scene, South Sudan's opposition has today called for a mobilization of its supporters to carry out regime change in response to plans to put their leader on trial for treason and crimes against humanity.
And that's all for now from Newscope Desk. It was packaged by Ajay Donyi Olojede and brought to you by
Idowu Shekoni.
And I am Oluyole Olatubosun. Thanks for listening. The Yoruba edition will be coming up at 8 o'clock later this evening. Thanks for joining us. Good evening.
Oluyole FM 98.5.
ètò ìlera nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń gbèrú sí i pẹ̀lú akitiyan ètò ìjọba ọlọ́lá jùlọ gómìnà Olúṣèyí Abíọ́dún Mákindé láti pàṣẹ iléeṣẹ́ elétò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ní kó àwọn èwe tí ń dọ̀rọ̀ tàn síbẹ̀ ìgbìyànjú iléeṣẹ́ elétò ìlera ń tẹ̀síwájú láfi rán àwọn ìyálọ́mọ létí wípé bọ́mọ bá ti pé oṣù mẹ́fà lẹ́yìn oúnjẹ omi ọyàn pọ̀nbélé àwọn oúnjẹ aṣaralóore alápòpọ̀ mashed foods la máa fún wọn jẹ pẹ̀lú àfikún omi ọyàn àwọn oúnjẹ bíi ẹyin ẹja èso ewébẹ̀ ẹ̀wà ẹ̀pà sóyà ìrẹsì àgbàdo iṣu àtàwọn míì àwọn oúnjẹ wọ̀nyí ló kún fún okun agbára ìjípépé ìdàgbàsókè àlàáfíà